You're watching Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. We got a lot to discuss on today's show. Could Seattle trade up from 18th overall? Yes, trade up. Not something we talk about too often when it comes to John Schneider. Also, Stephon Gilmore. Could he be on his way to the Pacific Northwest? One ESPN NFL insider thinks both of these things are a possibility. We'll tell you about all that and more coming up in just a bit. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Folks, we are closing in on 65,000 subscribers here on the channel. Just a little over 150 away from reaching that next milestone. You may be wondering, why should I subscribe to Seahawks Today? We're bringing you daily news and rumors. We got live shows twice a week, breaking news. We also have our interactive Q&A mailbags. This is your one-stop shop for all things Seahawks. Make sure you subscribe. Tell all your friends that they need to subscribe as well. Best part about it, 100% free. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV to subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. Y'all remember that show, The Jeffersons? Moving on up to the east side. Great show. Bill Barnwell of ESPN is saying that we need to keep an eye on Seattle potentially moving on up in the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft, as they have a lot of picks and they have a decent number of needs to address. Here's more from Barnwell. After trading away Smith and Metcalf, the Seahawks have 5 top 100 picks with which to work, numbers 18, 50, 52, 82, and 92. By Chase Stuart's draft chart, they have the 8th most draft capital of any team, giving them all kinds of flexibility. There's only one of the top 13 teams by draft capital post a winning record last season. So they're closer to being competitive than most of the teams that have significant capital heading into April. So here's what we're talking about of these draft picks that Seattle has. 18, 50, 52, 82, 92. As you can see all right there, 5 picks in the top 100. And just to give an idea, when you pick in the top 100, you're going for all measurements top 100 talent. So you got a shot as is to get 5 top 100 players. That's pretty good. And then you go down from there. 137, 172, 175, 185, and 234 is the draft picks for Seattle of their 10 total picks that they have in this draft. More from Barnwell suggesting potentially moving up. Schneider also has a clear mandate, at least from Seahawks fans. That's you guys. Fix the offensive line. The only player up front who should be guaranteed a starting role in 2025 is left tackle Charles Cross. Right tackle Abraham Lucas has been fine when healthy, but he only has played 13 games over the past 2 seasons because of various injuries. Seattle could add a veteran or 2 between now and the draft, but on paper, this is comfortably the worst offensive line in football. I would not be surprised if Seattle does end up trading up in this draft because of the assets they have and the obvious needs that they have to address. And especially when you look at the offensive line situation, I don't know if you want to gamble on who's potentially available or not available when you pick at 18. And here's the other thing. It really depends on how the board shakes out. We won't know till we get closer to the draft, until the draft is in progress, how the offensive line are shaping out. Maybe some of the guys start to fall, and you don't have to worry about trading from 18. Maybe there's a run on offensive linemen where John Schneider's got to be aggressive and get on the phone and say, all right, we can't wait around any longer. We got to go get our guy. It all depends on circumstance of what eventually happens. Barnwell also added this. My instinct is Schneider prefers to amass picks and take as many shots as the board as possible. But if there's an offensive lineman or 2 he loves in the first 3 rounds, he might need to consolidate picks and get guys who can immediately step into the lineup. Without a big offensive line signing at this point in time, Schneider has to do whatever it takes in this draft to get this offensive line figured out and figured out fast. Whatever it takes. That means trading up. If that means having to give up players potentially or future picks, time is not of the essence here. You have to get this right now, and I think it's something to keep an eye on, potentially trading up from 18. I think it's very possible at this juncture. Our pinned comment today, should the Seahawks trade up in the draft? You might get an ad break while the ad's playing. Get your votes in. Let us know. Type T for trade, P for pass. Get in that comment section. Tell me what you think. More from Bill Barnwell of ESPN. He is suggesting that the Seahawks sign corner Stephon Gilmore, formerly of the Minnesota Vikings. So potentially bringing a couple of Vikings to Seattle. In addition to Sam Darnold, could Stephon Gilmore join him? Here's more from Barnwell. The Vikings only signed Gilmore last offseason after they seemed to realize they didn't have enough at cornerback. He was more than worth their $7 million investment. I wouldn't be surprised if the same scenario happened this year, where a team that looks thin at cornerback and doesn't love what it sees from some of its young guns in camp goes after Gilmore as a plug-and-play solution over the summer. Now, I really like this idea. I think Gilmore is still a quality starter in the National Football League. And when you think about Seattle's situation for a moment here, you brought back Josh Jobe, who I'm glad is back. 1 year, $2 million contract. Made a ton of sense for Seattle to re-sign him. And he did a pretty decent job last season filling in for Trey Brown when he took over that starting outside cornerback spot at the second half of the season. But even with that said, I don't feel comfortable with Josh Jobe being an everyday full-time starter. I'm happy to have him as my backup, but I'd much rather roll with Stephon Gilmore as my starting outside corner and then have Jobe potentially fill in if there's an injury, and then I get depth at the position, and now you're talking about a win-win there. Should the Seahawks sign Stephon Gilmore? You got two options here. Type Y for yes, N for no. Get in the comment section. Let us know which way you think, if they should bring in Gilmore or not. Got a great deal we're offering Hawks fans right now. Cooper Kupp jerseys are on sale with free shipping available at chatsports.com/cup. And I got to tell you, I'm so excited to have Cooper Kupp here. A lot of you, I'm sure, probably are close to Cooper Kupp. Whether you grew up with him or have some family or friends that know him out in Eastern Washington, whatever it may be. And what better way to support a home state guy than by wearing his jersey? This is a jersey, folks, that's going to age well. So why not go ahead and get this today and have it for the entire Cooper Kupp era and beyond in Seattle? Chatsports.com/cup is where you can get yours. We have other Seahawks merchandise, including Sam Darnold jerseys, available at that same link. Chatsports.com/cup to get yours now. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Let's tell you more about Stephon Gilmore. Gilmore, he has been a journeyman, been all over the place. Minnesota, Dallas, Indy, Carolina, New England, and Buffalo. 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time first-team All-Pro. He won the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year award back in 2019. You're not getting the Defensive Player of the Year version of Stephon Gilmore from 2019, but he has still played at a very good level over the last several seasons. Last year in Minnesota, had 56 tackles, 1 TFL, 9 pass breakups, and an interception. The year prior to that in Dallas, had 68 tackles, 13 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, and a 1 forced fumble. And he has been a turnover machine over the years. And last year held his own in his coverage statistics. Gave up just a little over 500 yards, only allowed 3 touchdowns, had 9 pass breakups, QB rating of 87.5. I like this. And you don't have to break the bank either. Spotrac is projecting that Gilmore is going to get about a 1-year, $5.33 million deal And my guy Patrick Seatman over at Vikings Now is thinking that whatever team signs Gilmore, probably going to be an August signing, that he likely will not go through training camp, will not want to do that. But I don't need Stephon Gilmore in training camp. I need him healthy and to be a starter when it matters. He's been through enough training camps, enough OTAs and all that. Let's let him kind of enjoy this offseason, and he can join and hop on board whatever he feels as far as I'm concerned. This is a no-brainer for me to bring in Stephon Gilmore and add him to this corner room. You start Devin Witherspoon at nickel. You go with Reek Woolen at outside. And you go with Josh Jobe as a backup for the three of them. To me, that makes a ton of sense. And then you got some other cats like Pritchett in the mix. Demarion Williams is also there. You brought in Jean Charles from the New Orleans Saints, who Seattle seems to be excited about in a backup role. Then Tyler Hall is still there. We'll see what that goes for him. But nonetheless, I think it would be a natural fit at a cheap cost, starting caliber corner, and you add some much-needed depth to this position. I'm all in on this possibility. Who is a corner these Seahawks should add? Whether it's Stephon Gilmore or another free agent, maybe it's somebody they should trade for, maybe it's somebody in the draft that comes to mind. Give me a name of a corner that you want to see Seattle add here in the coming months before the start of the 2025 campaign. Give me a name that you would like to see. Let us know. Appreciate you joining us here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. If Stephon Gilmore signs, you'll be the first to know about it here on the channel. We'll bring you a video, react to it whenever that happens. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV to subscribe now. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time here on the channel.